13th, 2017. It's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S., and I love going live. Very special. Today's topic is debate issues, not politicians. This is heavy on my spirit, and I'm going to share why. But what I want to say is, we start when we go live. We start on that specific topic, and then I leave the forum open to various discussions. Um, my channel is Inspirational Nomad. It's based on the foundational the foundational message of take care of your mind, body, and soul, live a simplistic life, but also engage life and be part of a positive solution in society. Um, so part of the discussion today will be on debate issues, not politicians, but also, as all of our live sessions, we're going to have live interaction. We can talk about anything. If you have a subject on another live stream that you want to talk about, we'll go from there. What's up, Football Boots Review? I see you with some good comments today. Thank you, brother. So why is it on my spirit to talk about this issue today? Debate issues. Hey, it's Miss Kimberly. How you doing, pretty? Now, let me tell you, Miss Kimberly, I'm going to get into you in a minute. I see you with a lot of followers on Instagram. We'll get into that in a minute when we do our freestyle. But there's a lot of hurt out there. There's a lot of hurt because people get seduced into debating and defending politicians rather than debating issues and thinking for themselves. You get into a dangerous, unhealthy mind when you put a politician on a pedestal or you put a politician below your feet and you defend or you uphold a politician more than you pay attention to an issue. The job of citizens is not to say this politician is my savior or this politician is the devil. That's not the job of a healthy society. The job of a healthy, critical, self-thinking society is saying, what is the issue? What are the particulars around a certain law that we're trying to pass? And what's my proposed solution? And who do I agree with and why? That's important because throughout life, you can't stick your head in the sand. Some channels don't even want to talk about politics or religion. Why? Because they want their channel to be a Walt Disney channel. Why? Because they want mass audience. Why? Because they want as much revenue and money from being generic and neutral and non-standing on any issue. They just want to be neutral, and they want to suck all the viewers can. They want to pander you with a bunch of Mickey Mouse stuff, and they don't want you to think. And that's dangerous. I watched, like the other day, I was watching live streams, and there were 1,000 views for a cat live stream. Just a bunch of cats, no people, just a bunch of cats crawling up on different cat stuff, like in like a daycare center, and 1,000 people watch that live. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And so, how does that help you? I mean, to some extent, that relieves your anxiety. Kittens are cute, but I mean, people watch that for hours, and it's a shame. Throughout your life, politics is going to play a role. So for me not to speak on that process, not talking about necessarily one politician, but that process is disingenuous and it's hurtful to you because your job, and even if you own your own business, I have done both. I've worked for a private company and I've owned my own business. Every job has a level of politics. So if you just want to stick your hand in the sand and say everybody's evil, I don't talk about politics, you do it to your own harm. And I don't care if you live in a car or a mansion. And this channel is about self-improvement. Living simple, yes. Having fun, yes. But self-improvement, yes. And so many people I've seen throughout my life get laid off or quit or fired. Why? Not because they don't have ability, not because they don't have the capability, but because they don't want to deal with politics. They get so frustrated with the politics of the office or the construction site or the hair salon that they just say, fuck it ain't worth it. And they screw themselves. Because every job has politics. Every job. Everything in this world has politics. So for me not to talk about that is disingenuous. Okay? And so there's certainly at times more healthier environments than others. But what I want to share with you, the best way to handle it with a healthy mind is to understand the issue, not trying to understand the politician or the person at the office that's causing the political issue. What are they trying to do? What's the issue that you're having? Don't just go to HR. Don't just go on an online forum and passionately debate a politician, or if you're in the office, oh, this person is causing a problem in our office. Because the first thing HR is going to tell you, well, what is the issue? And which they will ask you. I've been in that position. They'll ask you, what would you do to solve it? Okay? So, you know what I mean? You can't just go in there with raw emotion. You have to have documentation, and you have to have critical thinking. And you have to step back from emotion. People, it's a dangerous, unhealthy, unbalanced mind that somebody who either bashes a politician or praises them. It's a red flag for me, because it shows me that someone who isn't thinking for themselves. Because every politician has some good, some bad. Every person at the office has some good, some bad. Some have more than others. But what I want you to do throughout the course of your life, whether it's politics in a government, whether it's politics at your job, I want you to step back from your emotions. I want you to research issues, and I want you to form critical thinking. That's how I do it. So I tell you how I piss in a car. I tell you, you know what I mean, my entertainment system for a car. Also, my mindset towards politics, whether it's a government or whether it's politics at a job, I try to step back, I try to learn the issue, and then I form my own thought, and then I see, how can I be part of a solution here? Because anarchy, mass chaos is never the answer. Never. Never. Now, I know I had a good viewer, and he leaves some good comments once in a while. My name is RJ, Laugh Out Loud. And he wrote yesterday, we talked about consumerism, Black Friday. Thank you, Miss Kimberly, for that recommendation. I'm going to get to the comments in a minute. But it's important to me that I structure at least the first 15 minutes dedicated to the topic. Is that, you know, Democrats and Republicans, both bad. And I agree with that. But what I don't agree is, then, okay, so anarchy is not the answer either. We have to understand that. And living in a desert, living in a forest, and sticking your head in the sand is not the answer. That's being led astray. And you won't have a healthy mind. You won't have financial freedom. You will live a life of total seclusion. And that's an unhealthy mind. Part of, like I said, what blesses me about this live stream is community, is engagement. There's different people that are normal viewers, that are normal watchers of this thing, that I know that they like Trump, and there's normal viewers that I know that they like the Democrats. Okay? And throughout my life, I've had friends on both sides. And that served me tremendously. Why? Because I can understand at different times, different sides being right. Okay? And I think the majority of people are like that. But the problem is, people focus on the 10% bad, and then they get extreme, and they blindly support one politician or the other. There's actually a scripture, like I also say too, with religion. I'm a follower of Christ as far as his belief system, but I think for myself, and I respect every other religion. I respect people with no religion. Okay? There's a scripture in the Bible that says you should never basically put a leader, a political leader, as an idol. Never. Okay? I don't care how nice they are. I don't care how mean they are. You have to think for yourself. Okay? And that's also part of my core message. Always, always. And so I think that's the core of what I want to share with you. I want to heal the mind. You heal the mind by not putting someone up on a pedestal, and not putting someone in a demon, trying to demonize them. You do your own research, you think for yourself, and you debate issues. And then you realize that no matter how fair you are, when you talk about different issues, you're never going to have society agree 100%. This is shown in all of our families. All of us, no matter what background, no matter what race, no matter what religion, we can go as close as our families, and we can see why people can't get along. I mean, I saw in my family, a family of a mother, a father, and 3 siblings, and most of the time can't all get along. So if 5 people can't get along, don't be so overwhelmed why 350 million or however many are in your country can't get along. I mean, it's very hard to keep people on the same page. Okay, but we don't help by blindly supporting or blindly bashing a politician. We help, we make things better. Things will never be perfect. We make things better by looking at issue by issue and debating that issue. Okay? And not getting totally. Hey guys, I apologize. I got knocked off. But I'm back. I had to reposition my car. And sometimes that happens in live, usually not that long, but I'm a little bit in a remote area, so the reception wasn't that good. But like I was saying, I know people will slowly join back in. But what I was sharing, the core message is not to be consumed by anything, including um, political people, including being a nomad, including religion, including anything. Don't let anything consume you, and realize that everything is issue by issue. And again, I apologize as people rejoin. I know I got knocked off. I know, I'm sorry, it went offline. Boots Review. I'm in a remote area, so the Wi-Fi here isn't that good. I'm actually using my phone service, so it got knocked off longer than normal. I apologize. I know it'll take a little bit for everybody to come back in. I apologize. And I'm gonna get to the comments. But that's part of being live. That's kind of what makes it wild too. But that's my core message: is that everything is debatable, even within the same system. Again, even in your same religion, even in your same political belief system, as far as political party, everything is debatable, and you need to look at issue by issue. Even when Jesus, his real main area where he was able to turn the tide of a religious mind was, which is the unhealthy mind, was he knew the Bible better than religious scholars. So he knew the issues better, and he was able to debate the issues with what they called Pharisees, which were, like, at that time, the religious leaders. So the principle applies the same whether you're talking politics or religion. He didn't get caught up, Jesus didn't get caught up in saying, all right, this Pharisee is bad because he had an affair, or, he's an asshole, or this and that. What he did was, he knew the Bible, he knew the issues better than anyone else, and then a lot of times he just kind of he served the issues up so easily understood, and with the proper interpretation, that he healed a society away from a religious mind and into a spiritual mind. Okay, did it change the world? Yes. Did it change bad stuff happening in the world? No, there's still bad stuff, and there always will. So he didn't solve the problem of the world, because that's a spiritual issue. But what I just want to share with you is that was the key to Jesus' success, and whoever you want to believe it, I have to share that. Part of what he was able to succeed was he knew the issue better than anyone else. If you want to get involved in politics, or if you just want to have a healthy mind, and if you do want to engage in politics, know the issue, debate that, and leave all that political, I love this guy, I hate this girl, leave all that off the table, because it's going to hurt you, okay? I'm going to get to some comments. I know I just wanted to, it's important that I structure this, so the first 15 minutes we speak on the topic, and then we're going to have the interaction in the live free flow. I'm going to go back. I know, hey, it's politics, same. Football Boots Review said, before I even got knocked off, is politics same as law? Not sure if I understand that, but I would say you're right. And whether you're talking about a religious law or whether you're talking about political governance, they are the same. It's a rigid mindset that a lot of times you can get distracted by getting caught up in ism, like capitalism, socialism, or Democrat, Republican, or Christian, Muslim, rather than issue. Okay? Rather than, all right, well, what's the tax issue? All right, well, what's the adultery issue? And how do we handle it? So it's more or less people want to be part of a gang and part of I associate with this, rather than critical self-thinking. So from that standpoint, you're right. It's Miss Kimberly. You're right. Thank you. It's Miss Kimberly. I appreciate that. No Man's Land's in the building. Love and respect you, No Man's. And then Football Boots Review, and I don't blame him. He gave me double question mark. And you rightfully so. He said offline I was. Thank you, though, for coming back in, Football Boots Review. Can anyone read this? I can read this, and you're heard. Your voice is heard. Sayo Gate. Sayo Gate is a good viewer. I can. Currently offline, too. Yes, thank you, Sayo. Hopefully you're back in the chat room, because Sayo Gate left some beautiful, thoughtful comments on one of my videos I did about my views on hunting, and I really was impressed by your willingness to share, Sayo, and I thought those were great comments. So thank you for joining. Hopefully you hear this if you're back in. I'm scrolling, I'm catching up on comments. Oh, it's Miss Kimberly. I'm back. Yes, thank you. Sayo, looks like it was a problem with the connection. Yes, I'm a little bit in a remote area today, so the connection was a little hairy. Thank you, though, Sayo. And where we at? Yes, politics has a lot to do with law. Yes, it's a law. It's a mindset. It's an unhealthy mind. That's the only reason I'm bringing up. I really don't want to get saturated with talking about politics. My only reason for bringing up is because there is hurt in the world, because people get consumed by defending or bashing politicians rather than healing the mind and debating issues. And I want people to be whole. I don't want to sway people to believe in Trump, don't believe in Trump. I don't want to, I'm just like Christian. I want to, I don't want to convert people that don't want to be converted. I want to share my perspective, but overall, I want people to be healthy and whole. and then think for themselves. And then we're going to have disagreements, okay? Um, you're like an elephant in the room. You forget nothing. Well, I tried. Thank you. Thank you. I do try. Sayo, thank you, Miss Kimberly, for saying that. And Sayo, thanks, man. No, thank you, Sayo. Thank you for coming back in the room, because I know it sucks when you get kicked off. And thank you, brother. All right. Like I say, Sayo, you're a leader, okay? And never not be willing to share your soul. Now, the downside of that is you're going to get hurt. Yes, people make fun of you. People disrespect you sometimes. But what I want to share with you is you don't live life without sharing your soul. Certainly you have to have boundaries. Certainly you can't share everything with everybody. But I want to encourage you to be you, and that your voice matters, and that being sensitive is a positive thing, not a negative thing, okay? Because I'm sensitive, but yet I'm controlled within my emotions. And like Dana had said, you also have to build up a little bit of a thick skin. So it's good to be sensitive. You don't want to be overly sensitive, but it's good to be sensitive, and it's good to share what's on your soul. Because what you will find, like I found in life, is that once you share what's on your soul, you will set the captives free. There will be a million people that will say, you know what, this guy's right, or this girl's right. Because it only takes one person to crack the nut, shall I say. One person to break that contentious spirit in the air, or break that silence. And then everyone else, they feel relief. Because in most cases in life, everyone else is thinking very similar to what's on your mind. But in most cases, people don't want to say anything. So it takes a level of boldness to speak up. Certainly you need a level of self-control when you speak up. Certainly you need to use wisdom, but you also need to be bold enough to speak up. And when you speak up, you have to be confident enough to hear silence. Because sometimes when you speak up on something that matters to you, it'll be complete silence. And you feel like, oh shit, why did I say anything? No, it's okay. It's okay. Let there be complete silence. Let there be crickets. That's okay. Your voice still matters. All right? And football boots review. Sayo, I get your videos. Keep it up. Yes. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Football boots review gave you love from the community. Sayo, it feels good and fun hearing you talk directly to me. No, that's what it's about. We have to talk directly to each other. It's part of a healthy mind. That's part of building one another up. Okay, because and it's part of building yourself up. Once you're built up, then you go out and you help other people build themselves up, and then that's part of a healthy community. And even if you want to be isolated, like I've shared many times, and many nomads will share with you. I mean, to some extent, if you're, and I saw it's Miss Kimberly, one of her. Now I'm going to get into it. One of Miss Kimberly's Instagram quotes was something about an introvert. Like all the introverts unite in their house. It was from a while back. I looked at a bunch of her photos. One is, it's Miss Kimberly. She has over 12,000 followers on Instagram. Now, I'm not going to put It's Miss Kimberly on blast, but if It's Miss Kimberly wants to share her Instagram, I mean, she's hot out there on the gram. All right, so a lot of people are following. She's got some great pictures with the cosmetic, waxing, etc. But back to the point was, yes, hashtag introvert. It's Miss Kimberly's hot on the gram, all right? 12,000 followers. I was very impressed. And what I was saying, though, is that many nomads are introverts. Many sensitive people are introverts. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a positive thing, not a negative thing, okay? So, but this technology in different ways allow you to be connected, because you need to be connected to have a community, but also give you your time to yourself, all right? And you need to do that. And so also why I'm speaking on this issue, which is today the topic of debate issues, not politics, is I don't want you to be a nomad and not be involved in society. Because when you don't get involved, assholes run the show, okay? Yeah, do people with money run the world? To some extent, but you know who runs the world more? People who get involved. People who get involved run the world more than people with money. Get involved to some extent, to what you're capable of. I'm not saying don't over volunteer, because I've seen many people make that mistake too. They volunteered for every church organization, every activity. Oh, I'll be the Bible study leader. Oh, I'll be to this person. Oh, I'll be the trash collector. And they wear themselves out. Do not volunteer to the point where you are in an unhealthy place. But I do want to give a message of, hello, Linda. I do want to give a message of be engaged in society. Don't be totally isolated, okay? Sayo, football boots review. Thanks, man. What country are you coming from? Thank you so much. Leave a comment. Sayo, what type of videos do you give? What's your channel about? Linda, how are you? Hello to Linda from Florida, checking in. And thank you, too, for the comment on on the charger this morning. Linda says that she uses a solar charger. Now, the only thing I'm not sure with a solar charger, when I did the video about portable chargers, if you live in your car or van, keeping your phone charged should be a huge priority, because your phone being charged is the biggest resource you have, and you need to have it charged. And so Linda said she had a solar charger. Now, I don't know, Linda, at night, does that still have the capacity to keep your phone charged, the solar charger? Football Boots Review, yeah, he's from the UK. So is Shay from the UK. We have a lot of great viewers from the UK. So I want to, definitely give love to the United Kingdom. That's what the UK stands for. If people don't know, United Kingdom. And USA stands for United States of America. So I also want to, that message of unity is wisdom. The most united countries are the strongest. The most divided are the most wars. It does matter. It does matter to be united, with the understanding it's never going to be perfect. So I don't want to preach to you a false message. But unity matters. And unity happens when you debate issues, not politicians. Okay? And what you'll find is most, not all, but most politicians, they have some right and they have some wrong. They're not completely evil and they're not completely great. There's a balance. And you're always going to lean a certain way based on your policy that you like. But I want you to be open-minded enough and not consumed that I just want you to have a healthy mind. I want to have a healthy mind. Okay? We're united. All right, Football Boots Review gave a good emoji. He gave the handshake, united. Linda, it's a small solar panel. Yep, charges in days. This works. Okay, so I guess it's a solar panel on her portable charger, and it charges during the day, that battery, and then it works at night. What does the UK think about America's politics and presidency? That's a question mark. Now, I'll defer to Football Boots Review and Shay. What I will say, two things. One is we're very similar. I would think that, from my understanding and my research, that the UK is even a little bit more in a I don't want to say socialism, but a little bit more government program type mindset, a little bit more union lean than capitalism. And so, there's a little bit of that there. Like Shay even commented, and that's not a bad thing either. That's just what, from my understanding, but I'm going to defer to Football Boots Review and Shay if Shay's on. Also, what Shay had mentioned on my no garbage video today was that actually, I don't know if the government or township actually provides her. She lives in UK, Southampton. They provide her with trash bags. She doesn't have to buy her own. So that's part of like a government run thing, I would understand, or a local municipality. So is it good or bad? It's debatable. But that's what I'm talking about. Debate that issue. Debate that issue. Don't debate the politician. Now, I know it's not fun. Believe me, I know you'd rather, talk about like Walt Disney or something, or watching Nomadic Fanatic fix his generator for the 15th time. But we have to talk about all things. This channel, believe me, I get more viewers and I get more subscribers when I talk about basic, generic, non-critical thinking stuff, but I don't grow. And I pander. So I want to be well balanced, and I want anyone who willingly wants to be part of this community to be well balanced. I want you to have the ability to talk about living in a car, and I also want you to have the ability to talk about political issues in a wise, balanced manner, not in a radical, over emotional manner. That's my message. Okay. Not all governments provide trash bags. Okay, so Football Boots Review. Yeah, I mean, he lives in the UK, so that's his perspective on that. I don't live there, so I can only say limited things about that. Mostly businesses get them more. Okay, so that's good to know. I had no idea. Shay enlightened me on that, and now you're enlightening me more. So, there's different pros and cons. There's nothing is perfect. So you'd have to take it issue by issue, and then you'd have to see how you think. Now, nothing is for free. Let me say that. So I'm sure that if the government is providing it, just like with Canada, the government provides health care, but you know what? They pay for it in their taxes. So you pay for, even though you get something, you get nothing for free. Let me be very honest with you. You get nothing for free. It's a matter of what taxes are used for and how much are taxes going to be and who pays the majority of taxes. That's what it's always going to come down to. So it's a shell game of how you move the money. And that's kind of also what's going on in America now. They're debating a tax bill. What I saw today, because actually Ivanka Trump's going to be in New Jersey, in Ocean County. They have a lot of golf courses here in New Jersey, and they're from New York. So, I'm very familiar with their different organizations and their buildings. And so she's going to be at a firehouse actually in Ocean County, New Jersey, not far. And they're going to be talking about the proposed tax cut bill that's going up. So part of that discussion is that currently the way the system works is if you own a house and you pay more than $10,000 a year in property tax, you can deduct that off your salary. And so, example, if you made $50,000 a year and you paid $10,000 in property taxes, you deduct that off your $50,000. Now you only pay federal taxes on $40,000. The debate is, well, after $10,000, you shouldn't be able to deduct anymore. So if you had property taxes of $15,000, you wouldn't be able to deduct that off your federal income taxes. That's the debate. Now, people that have property taxes over $10,000, that's a little bit high. I know people that do, so it's debatable. I know most people don't. When I had a condo, my property taxes in New Jersey they started at $5,000 over the course of 15 years. When I left, they were around $8,000. So, property taxes also are relative to which state you live in. We're the United States. Each states are different. Like I know in Texas, there's no sales tax, but they have cheaper property tax, so it's all relative. Okay. I don't want to manifest anything, but I believe in government that supports freedom education, so we can understand the limitations of our freedom and the equality of life as well talking of trash bags. Yes. So I understand your soul and what you're saying there. You want the general overall good of society. Now the problem with politicians and the problem with governments are they're humans. Okay. The problem with corporations are they're humans. The number 2 employer in the world, Walmart. Okay. The number 1, the Defense Department, the United States Defense Department. Okay. So, the United States the United States and Walmart are the top 2 basically employers. If you Google it, I believe that's what you'll find. And so governments, corporations, whether it's Walmart, whether it's Defense System, and shout out to it's Miss Kimberly, she did 4 years in the service. They're run by people. Okay? So, it's really, and that's why I'm speaking on this, is as we are better people, we add better value to that system. Is it like a grain of salt on the beach? Yes. Sometimes it feels like we don't matter, but I don't, and sometimes it may not in one sense, but it always does matter as far as self-improvement and as far as speaking your truth in love and in respect. Okay. Sayo, bad grammar. Sorry. No, really. No worries. I understand the heart of what you're saying. Had to narrow my speech down. No worries, Sayo. I hear you. Sayo, I meant because we are talking about trash bags. I totally understand, and I get the context of what you were saying. No worries. It's Miss Kimberly. I went into she has a lot to offer to this conversation because, she was part of the military for 4 years and worked for the government, and that's working for the government. I went into the military at 21. Okay? I didn't always want to do that. It just seemed like a good thing at the time. Very insightful. My family was upset because it was 5 years after 9/11. Very interesting. It's Miss Kimberly again. It helped me in so many ways, but I don't recommend it for everyone. Great insight, it's Miss Kimberly. Great insight, okay? Thank you for sharing that. I think that's powerful. And again, it's Miss Kimberly, 12,000 followers on Instagram. She's big out there, all right? Football Boots Review, why don't you recommend it? Good question. I'll let her answer it. I'm not going to speak for anyone else. I'm going to give everybody else fair chime. Very interesting question. Well, I guess it's just also, I'm going to share from my perspective, it's just like living out of a car. Do I recommend it for everyone? No. Not everything is for everyone. Does that make it good or bad? It's all relative to who you are. Because some people, I think living out of a car will give them an extreme quality of life. Some people, I think they would suffer. Like if you wanted a family and you wanted a pet, I wouldn't recommend living out of a car. But if you were a single person and you wanted to live a simple life, I would recommend living out of a car. So I'm not going to answer for it's Miss Kimberly, but I want to add that perspective to the conversation because we're all kind of also united in that nomad mentality. So we have to understand that as well. Linda coming in from Florida. Fort McCoy, Wisconsin was working there for years. Army is strange. And also, Linda was also a traffic officer for many years. So, she was part of the government employee as far as I'm sure she worked for some municipality and what pays for that taxes. So it's all relative. And again, it's from my research is that U.S. government is the biggest employer of the world. It's Miss Kimberly, because you have to be mentally strong. Well, I agree with that. Just like living on a car, you have to have a certain mental. I agree with that. Not necessarily physical. Okay, that's respect. That's true because there's different ways. I think that's life in general. It's hard let me read her comment properly without interrupting because I want to show respect. It's Miss Kimberly. Because you have to be mentally strong, not necessarily physical. It's a hard thing for a person serving spouse and kids. Yes. So again, that kind of plays off of what I was saying about living in a car. If you have a family, it's going to be harder to live out of a car. If you have a family, it's going to be harder to be in the service. I knew a guy that married a woman in the service, and it was very hard for them because there was constant movement and they had no place to settle. And that could, when you're away for long periods of time, if you get deployed or even if you just have to serve at different bases, which she had to do a lot. She did serve in overseas in the Iraq times, but she also got deployed to a lot of different places from North Carolina, South Carolina, et cetera, et cetera. And so just like being a nomad, there's a lot of movement. Movement is actually your friend. So if you're a family, should you be moving from state to state if you live out of a car? No, not if you have kids. And I mean, you have to have them planted somewhere in a community as far as a school system, etc. Unless then you're going to homeschool them. But where are you going to homeschool? You're going to live in your car and homeschool your kids in your car? Not practical. So again, everything is not for everyone. So again, this is why it's very healthy to debate these issues. You see, we're having great debate and dialogue, healthy dialogue, without talking about without talking about specific politicians. We're talking about specific issues, and we're creating healthy, helpful dialogue. That's wisdom. That's healing. Okay. It's Miss Kimberly again. Oh, Linda, I'm sorry, I missed your retract comment. I apologize. It's Miss Kimberly. If you have little kids, you will have to leave them for months. I saw that, so I agree with that, and that's very tough. You meet a lot of people, but they leave too. That's right. There's constant movement. I even remember Saved by the Bell. Remember the guy, who's that guy? What's his name? Mario Lopez? That was part of his struggle with Saved by the Bell. I like that show. And remember, he used to always move, and finally he found Saved by the Bell people in California, and he loved that high school because he got tired of moving. I don't know if you remember that. Okay. You meet a lot of people. If you're not comfortable with change, you'll hate it. That's right. That's right. I agree with that. That's a good comment, Miss Kimberly. Football Boots review from the UK. We got a lot of love from the UK. One thing I like to add is, okay, he's going to add something. It's Miss Kimberly. I had a good experience, though. My schooling was paid for, medical and dental. Amen. So it can be a true blessing to be in part. And why it was a blessing, in my opinion, now getting to know it's Miss Kimberly is because she has a lot of common sense. She's practical, and she has a good spirit. That's what I always say, whether it's about living in a car or joining an army. If you're an irresponsible, over-emotional, nasty person, it doesn't matter if you live in a car. You're still going to live a horrible life. If you're an irresponsible, over-emotional person and you join an army, it doesn't matter. You're still going to have you're going to get dishonorably discharged. It's about your mindset, okay? And so having a healthy mindset. And so it's Miss Kimberly. She has a healthy mindset. So I want to share that. That's very important, whatever you do in life. And part of a healthy mindset is looking at issues, not looking at individual political leaders to the point where you get blinded by common sense. And because a lot of times I see people leave common sense principles just because they feel attacked. If they voted for somebody, they feel attacked, so they'll blindly support them just to try to prove that they're right. But a person with common sense will say, look, I voted for this person, but I actually disagree with them on this point, and I agree with you. That's wisdom. That's healing. That's a healthy mind. That's where I want to be, and that's where I encourage others to be. Okay? Linda, it is good this way of talking. Yes, I agree, Linda. Yes. Amen. Football Boots review. The Pakistani army have a system where the whole family live together no matter what in a mess. No matter what in a mess. Yeah, that's it. I don't know too much about the Pakistani army, so I certainly don't want to misspeak on them. So that's interesting. I don't know much about it, so I couldn't add without speaking ignorantly. It's Miss Kimberly says Slater. Oh yeah, Slater. That's Mario Lopez. That's right. Slater was cool. Yep. And remember when Slater took Kelly from Zach? Remember that? Mm-hmm. And then he ended up being with Jessica. I think, was her name Jessica? Jessie. Mm-hmm. Football Boots review. How many people watch Saved by the Bell in their lifetime? Please put the hand up emoji. Not sure if American military do that. Yeah, I'll defer to it's Miss Kimberly on that one. Respect, it's Miss Kimberly. This is what Seo says. It saddens me that people today, even if they don't respect the war, they don't even respect the people fighting it. It's not the soldiers' choice or mistake. I truly love you. Respect. Yeah, I respect that too. It's tough. I mean, because certainly like Vietnam War, which was America went into the Vietnam War and you were bashed Martin Luther King spoke up and he said that was two part of the reason really wasn't a lot of just civil rights. He was against for white and black people for them being part of the war in Vietnam, because he basically said that the government sending them there, without just cause and without really having a purpose. And a lot of people got senselessly, I don't know what it was, 50,000. A lot of people died in the Vietnam War. And now, this past weekend, our leaders of America went to a summit in Vietnam. Okay? So a decade later, all those lost soldiers that regular citizens fought in Vietnam, many Vietnam people killed many Americans. Now, American politicians and Vietnam politicians, they shake hands and they had gold silverware at a summit in Vietnam. So the world kept turning. And to me, that's why you have to think for yourself. Don't look at a political guy and think, or a political girl and say, this is my savior. Because after you're dead and gone a decade later, they'll be at the place you fought for, and they'll be toasting wine saying, we are the world. Very sad, in my opinion. Very sad. Okay? Gotta think for yourself. It's Miss Kimberly. She watched Saved by the Bell. I respect that. Oh, and also she said, well, let me circle back. I want to be respectful. Linda said, no football boots review. They give you part/pay. So respect to Linda too, because she also has insight on this, and we want to respect that. It's Miss Kimberly. Thanks, Sayo. Getting love out there. Oddly enough, I don't agree with war, but I respect those willing to put their lives on the line. And no doubt about that. And My Johnson. Okay, sup, bro? What's up, brother? All right, respect and love to you. Is there snow up there? My Johnson. No, it's a cool name. My Johnson. You know what I mean? I don't know if like you're Johnson but I respect that. No disrespect to the name. It's not snowing up here. It's currently in the 40s. And it actually got a little bit warmer. Over the weekend, it was very cold. Where are you from, My Johnson? And respect, you got dogs on there? Or is there rabbits? I can't tell from your profile picture, but welcome and respect and love to you. Benny, what's up, brother? I feel that whatever government is in charge, that it doesn't affect my life, or at least I don't notice it. That's true to an extent. And so I just don't really care about just my opinion on politics. Well, Benny, I think that's a level of wisdom too. And I want that perspective to be added to this conversation. And that's why part of my opening statement was don't get consumed by it. Because just like I talked about with the Vietnam War, it's like now the leaders we're friends with Vietnam and the leaders of it. So I don't want you to get over-consumed to the point where you don't enjoy life, because you're right. Majority of stuff that happens with political talking points, it really will never affect you. I want you to always focus on what you can control in life. What you can control in life is downsizing your life, living simple if that's what you want, living within your means, not getting caught in contentious debate, and being a positive person. You can control that. You can't control a lot of laws and things like that. But obviously, if you see a level of injustice, or you have to get involved sometimes. There's a balance. But I hear you, Benny, and it's noted. Okay. Hi, Benny. Oh, this Miss Kimberly. Give you some love. I understand where you're coming from, but it does affect you more than you think, from taxes to healthcare. Yes, it's a balance of thought. It's Miss Kimberly's right too. So I'm respecting both Benny and Miss Kimberly. Like I just said, you have to balance it. Don't get over-consumed because you can't control it all. That's wisdom. But don't get totally numb to it. And that's why I made this video. And every time I talk about politics, I jeopardize my own channel because people don't want to talk about it. But that's okay, because I'm okay if the channel goes back to zero. I don't want it to, but I want to be the best me. So the bottom line is, you have to be somewhat engaged in society, but you have to not be over-consumed. And My Johnson, I'm in Vegas. I'm in Las Vegas, I assume that is. Well, respect to you, Miss My Johnson. Thank you, brother. And love, man. Love to you. And what's the temperature out there? What's the temperature in Vegas? And are you living full-time out of your car? Now, Linda said, I know when I was speaking to her earlier that she's starting her planning process for her van. Linda, what type of van are you looking at? It's 72 degrees. Well, all right. 72 in Vegas. So, yeah, it's about 45 here, brother. So, now Vegas would be an interesting place. Do you, no, I don't live in a car. Okay, yeah, it would be tough to live in a car in Vegas in that heat. But, I mean, Bob Wells and all them, they go basically Vegas's next door neighbor, Arizona. They go there and they and then they do a lot of free camping in the desert. So it's all relative, but respect to Vegas. It's Miss Sayo, Miss Kimberly. I remember when people booed a gay soldier. Yeah, I mean, and I remember in the 90s when I grew up, that you weren't even allowed to say you were gay. it was what they called a don't ask, don't tell policy. So we have evolved as society. We have grown. I mean, now I believe you can openly serve. So, two part of society is just evolution and evolving, and it'll continue. It's just slow and muddy, but you have to stay focused on the issue and not the politicians. Okay. So Linda says I have a Dodge '06. So Linda is getting ready on her journey. I hope continued strength for you, and obviously strength is a big thing because now Linda's profile picture of that woman with the arm up. I actually, when I went to a museum Memorial Day of this year, that profile picture icon of Linda's profile, Linda Healy. I'm just saying, say Linda. I don't want to mispronounce your name. That's from, I believe, the World War II, when women weren't allowed to serve in the army, but they started to get engaged in society as far as then really in the workforce, and then the army needed them, and they started to integrate them in certain ways. So that when you see that women icon like this, lean, okay, Linda lean. When you see that woman picture like this that Linda has, that's from that generation when women in America were just really asserting their rights and having say not only in the armed forces but also in the working force, because women at World War II, when there was mass deployed males into the military, women had to by mandate, not by because like people wanted to. People didn't want women working, but society needed jobs filled because all the males were serving the army. So women then were integrated into the workforce at a higher, faster pace, and that was a blessing. That really started the equality of gender. And so that's when I see Linda's icon, I want you to do research on that. That's where that icon evolves from. That's a very iconic icon. Okay. I'm going to scroll back. It's Miss Kimberly. Yes, I knew a lot of men and women who were gay while I was in. Because again, it's Miss Kimberly did 4 years in the service, and she's speaking from her experience. Didn't bother me. It shouldn't. That's right. It's a good job. But they didn't really talk about it openly. Yeah, I mean, it may be a little different now since don't ask, don't tell is gone. Yeah, that's right. I mean, for the most part, once I mean, you shouldn't talk about it too much. I mean, nobody, I like, I don't go around a job saying what I did sexually last night to a female. So, there's really not much need to talk about your sexual intercourse on the workplace. But certainly you should have the freedom to be you, whether it's gay, lesbian, straight, or whatever. And as long as you're not hurting anyone, my motto is you have to be you. And you should have full rights and full equality in society. That's the issue that I would say, not saying I agree with this politician or that. On the issue of gay rights and all rights, I believe in equality for all. And my general rule is as long as that person is not hurting anyone, then they should have liberty to freely express themselves. Okay? Sayo, the sad fact is that he was scared. I believe he would lose his ability to serve and protect, even though they rejected him. Sorry for bringing this up again and again. No, Sayo, you have to speak your spirit. This is a healthy environment where one is I do not promote bashing one another and I don't promote bullying one another. So part of healing, why do I bring this up? Again, it's not for my own interest, because when I talk about issues like this, I actually get less views and I actually lose subscribers. But my reason for bringing this up is because I believe in promoting healing, okay? Mind, body, and soul. And part of what hurts people mentally is they get consumed by politics and politicians rather than in a healthy manner talking about issues. And so I'm certainly not going to spend a lot of time or a lot of live streams on politics, but I'm addressing an issue that is part of your life. You will be faced with political issues, and I want you to have a healthy mind to talk about issues and not get seduced into promoting or bashing a politician. Okay? Gunloso, Connecticut is in the building. Here for some inspiration and conversation on another daily live chat. Thank you. Baby, love you so much, and I love you too. And I know it's love and respect from 203 New Haven, Connecticut. Love and respect to you, Gunloso, and your beautiful children in the profile picture. Linda, never was that said in the Army, never, okay? Sayo, right? It's Miss Kimberly. It might have happened too. You can serve but can't be gay. And then she get an emoji like this. And there are two people who would never volunteer There are two who would never volunteer their life for the military but judge others who did it. Yeah, no, that's true. And Linda, I was going to Afghan and God struck me down with M.S 2 weeks before I was to go. Now MS, I believe that's multiple sclerosis. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so yes, I have known a couple people with multiple sclerosis. So that can seriously affect you. And again, that's why the core message of my channel, we talk about a lot of things, is mind, body, and soul based on what we can control. Like Benny mentioned, there's a lot about politics we can't control. I don't want to get into that conversation. I want to talk about what we can control in life. Focus on issues and focus on taking care of yourself. Mind, body, and soul. Whether you live in a car, whether you live in a mansion, that's wisdom, okay? And Seo's here. Linda, are you talking to me or Goon, or are you talking on Goon or me? Okay. Goon Loso. We love Goon Loso. Goon Loso, thank you, no problem. Linda, yes. It is multiple sclerosis. Football Boots Review. What's up? Here in the UK, you have to serve for a minimum of 12 to 15 years. That's long term. Now, that's interesting. Football Boots Review. Are you saying you have to serve by a mandate, or are you saying you get drafted into the military, or are you saying if you do decide to serve, then you have to do a minimum of 12 to 15 years? I don't understand that properly. I don't want to misspeak for you. Now, there's different countries that do have mandatory, like as soon as you, and we used to have that in this country, I believe, to some extent, but like Israel, for example, you have to join, from my understanding, is that you have to join the army for a certain amount of years before you can go into the private sector and work. So that's an issue, not politics, that's an issue that would be debatable. Now, I believe if you have a strong enough voluntary force, I don't believe I would support mandating people serve in the army. I understand that for some people it could be healthy to build structure and unity, but I like to go on the side of voluntary. I don't like to force people to do things they don't want to do, because you will never be good at something you're forced to do. Now, certainly there's going to be times in the world and society where there's going to have to be a mandate if there's mass thing, but you got to be careful. You got to be careful when you force somebody to do something. Okay, so Football Boots Review. If you decide to join the Army, you have to. Very interesting Football Boots Review, and that's also why I like these live discussions. See, I'm learning here. One is I learned about the trash bag thing. Two is I learned that from Football Boots Review, and I always have to still do my own research. But what I've learned is that if you do volunteer for the Army, it's a mandatory 12 to 15 years. That's very interesting to me. Now, it's Miss Kimberly. In the U.S., we say if you serve for 10 years, you might as well do 20. Now, that's interesting. And retire. Okay, I understand what you're saying now. For the Navy, it's a minimum of 4. See, I didn't know that either. You informed me and you educated me on that, and I always have to do my own research. If you do the Navy, it's a minimum of 4 years and 2 in active reserve. Very interesting. So this is good. This is good dialogue. Good dialogue. And yet now, you bring up a good point. Both Football Boots Review and it's Miss Kimberly. Now, the person I knew that married a woman in the Army, that was the debate they had in their family. That yes, it hurt their family a little bit because they had to constantly relocate. But it's Miss Kimberly's point, she was in for so many years. She was like, well, I might as well do another 10 years or whatever and be able to retire after 20 years and have full benefits, or whatever the situation was for her. But she was like halfway there. And so that's kind of the issue. Like, once you get involved, it's any job. The longer you're with one company and you're consistent, on average, you're going to be able to move up gradually than if you just bounce around from job to job. So it's almost the same thing with the Army. The longer you serve, the more higher you go up on average, and the more benefits you're going to get, and the earlier you're going to be retired. So you're always going to be faced with that dynamic. But what I do give respect to is Miss Kimberly, is that she knew herself. And after 4 years, there was something in her spirit. I listened to her in previous live chats, that after 4 years, she didn't want to resign, even though people gave her advice to resign. Why? Because it's in her spirit. She has different passions. She has a passion to open up a waxing self-care, whether it's makeup, whether it's hairstyles, whether it's waxing. That's her passion. I mean, you look at her Instagram with 12,000 followers. I see her passion. So I think she did the right thing, in my opinion, because that wasn't her passion. And you will be a resentful person if you do something solely for the money. Money is part of life, so I don't want to be disingenuous and say that in life you won't have to do things sometimes for money. Because if I do that, you're disservice. Then you're going to always be broke poor, and I don't care how much passion you have. If you're broke poor, it's not fun. So you have to balance that. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do to make an income, but also you have to live a simple enough life that so you can live your passion. You can live your passion, and you aren't necessarily subject to the dollar. You understand what I'm saying? Or the euro, yen, or wherever you're at in the world. Okay. Benny, here he goes. It if a friend offers to pick you up and you're staying out the night, where's a good spot to leave your car? All right, so let me read your email. Let me read your comment a little slower. Excuse me. If a friend offers to pick you up and you're staying out for the night, where does a good spot to leave your car overnight, or where would it be safe? Well, it's all relative to where you are. I mean, if you have friends or family in the area, then I would park that car in their driveway. The person that's coming to pick you up, I would say, all right, well, don't pick me up. I'll meet you at your house. I'll park in your parking spot, whether it's in your garage or if they live in an apartment and they have an allocated parking spot, and that's where I'm going to leave it. That would be my recommendation. Of course, it's all relative to the situation, but that would be my general answer for that, Benny. It's Miss Kimberly. I did 4 years. I needed my freedom. Yeah, and I can understand and respect that. I think you did the right thing, in my opinion. Sayo, Miss Kimberly, what sector did you serve in? How did you manage to resign? And what is the voluntary release? Good question. Okay, Benny, and it has to be public place. I can't think of anything a parking lot. Well, if you can't leave them in their driveway or garage, their friend, if it's gonna be a public place, then it's just a matter of abiding by the rules of that township or that city that you're in. And that varies by city to city to town. So there's some places where you can legally park your car for up to 24, 48 hours, etc. There's some places, such as certain rest stops, that can only a 2-hour max parking. You have to know, like I say, it is legal. It's legal to live in your car. The problem is it's illegal to park your car for certain periods of time at certain places. So that's what you have to learn and research your area and where you live, and that will give you your options on what you can legally do so that you have peace of mind. Because you certainly don't want to have a habit of trying to be overly stealth and do things illegally, because that's not wisdom, and that's not going to lead to a good quality of life. You're always going to feel like, looking over your shoulder. You don't want to live that life. You want freedom. So you're living out of your car because you want less anxiety. The last thing you want to be doing is worrying about parking illegally or trying to be like, and you don't want that in your life, in my opinion. Say, oh, sorry if I'm intrusive. No, if Miss Kimberly, that's fine. You're just asking a respectful question. It's Miss Kimberly. I was honorably discharged. Respect to that. That was my choice. Respect to that. I could have extended my enlistment for 1 or 2 years, but after weighing the pros and cons, I decided I was done. It's Miss Kimberly. Great job. And that's what I mean. See, you can tell by It's Miss Kimberly that she has integrity and honor, because she directly answers a question. She's very fair-minded, and she has compassion, and she has humor. She has humor. One thing I always say on my live streams, you have to be willing to laugh and laugh at yourself. Someone that has a mindset of no humor is unhealthy. We have to be well-rounded. I like Miss Kimberly a lot. I really do. Sayo, thanks. Okay, so Sayo appreciates you answering that question. I appreciate it. The community appreciates it, because we're all learning something. Okay, breaking it down. That's okay. A lot of people don't ask questions about my military career. Respect to that. And also what I'll say is, anytime you can, in a healthy environment, share your life, all aspects of it, you grow, you heal, you help others. Sharing your testimony is a huge part of your purpose. In addition to whether it's waxing or whatever Sayo wants to do, or whatever Football Boots Review wants to do, whatever Linda wants to do, your passion is also, part of your passion is also, at some point, once you're fully healed, is to share your story. That's part of, for me, this is a little bit of therapy, is I share myself. I certainly would not have this forum, and I would not be sharing myself to the extent if I was still very much hurt. And there's been different times in my life where I've been hurt, spiritually, financially, etc. And when I was in that hurt place and I wasn't healed, there's no way I would have enough in me to do this. I would be too recluse. And that's why I promote healing. Okay, that's why I speak on this issue, because many people are hurt mentally from being divisive with politics, and they become reclusive and they don't share. Many people got hurt on social media. Why? Because they got in political arguments. So that's why I bring this up. I want healing. I want wholeness. I want mind, body, and soul for myself and for others. Okay? That's my opinion. We're doing a time check here. Oh, we're doing a live stream. We have 4 o'clock. Okay, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on where you're at. The UK is a little bit later. I believe it's 5 hours ahead. I believe that's what Football Boots Review told me. And it's about 44 degrees here in the New Jersey area. Respect and love to that. It's Miss Kimberly. How'd you get so many followers on Instagram? I was very impressed. I couldn't believe you have over 12,000 followers. Football Boots Review. Are you engaged in all? Do you have? If you want to share, you don't have to share. Do you do anything like with football as far as whether it's reviewing boots, etc. 9 p.m. from the UK. Football Boots Review. Are you involved in all in football? Whether it's selling football merchandise, whether it's reviewing football. Just curious. It's dead cold in the UK. I hear that. Because I'm me. Duh. Okay, I respect that, Miss Kimberly. She just said, look, I got 12,000 followers plus just because she's hot. And she is hot. She's a beautiful girl. And I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at her for that. 3 degrees in the UK? Wow, that's cold. That's cold, brother. Man, I didn't know it got that cold in the UK. I guess that's a little bit of ignorance. See, I'm learning. And that's why it's healthy to have I didn't know it get that cold in the UK, man. That's cold. Football Boots Review, do you live in your car? I think you say you did. I think you did. I could be wrong. Very interesting. Yeah, I got about 100 followers on Instagram. I mean, I do hashtags a little bit, but I never really hashtagged it up. I really don't. My whole life has never been based on followers or subscribers. I like it like everyone else, but that's not my game. I just try to be myself and use stuff for self-growth. Benny says it's 5 a.m. and 12 degrees here in Western Australia. Man, see, that's amazing. We're connected all over the world. Benny's from Western Australia. Now, Benny, I believe you're just starting to live out of your car. Correct me if I'm wrong. In the beginning of my journey, one YouTube couple that encouraged me, I don't like them anymore, was actually a young married couple. They have 2 kids now. They originally had one from Australia, and they traveled in the East Coast, mainly in Florida. I forgot their names. I was in a Class C, and the guy was Australian, and the girl was American, and they traveled up and down, mainly in Florida. They had a YouTube channel, and then they went back when they went back to Australia because she had a second kid, and now I think they're back to living in a house. Forgot the name of that channel because I stopped watching them because I just didn't like it anymore, to be honest with you. Football Boots Review. I used to play professionally. But once I stopped, I really wanted to stay I really wanted to stay part of the game. I respect that, but eventually I had to move on to something else. Football Boots Review. Respect to that. Used to play professionally. Throughout my life, I've known a couple people that went into professional sports. My second cousin, which I don't know really at all, Tony Saragusa, he played for the Baltimore Ravens. And there was a kid I grew up in high school with. Well, at least I played 1 year. Well, I went to the same high school. He played 1 year with there. He got drafted into the NBA, and then he played overseas. So, and also too, growing up with people that played in college football, I could tell you that in my experience, once you've played professional sports and then you leave it, it's a very tough transition because your whole life you have dedicated to the perfection of a sport, and to once that's over, and most people professional sports, whether you're talking about women's gymnastics or whether you're talking about professional football, most average sport player, their career is over by 30. So, at 30 to then totally have to change directions and learn a trade or learn a different thing is very hard. So that's what I think of first when you share your story. I have compassion. And 2 is I have respect that you stayed part of the game to stay engaged and that you're adding something. So I'll respect you. It's Miss Kimberly. Just kidding. No worries. I got you. We can laugh. We got to have fun. I've had IG for 5 years. Respect that. But other pages that had lots of followers posted my pictures and started following them. You got a very cool Instagram. It's Miss Kimberly. Like I say, very beautiful. I love the different hairstyles. And like I said, what I liked about it, because I know you now a little bit. I mean, we don't know each other for real, because you never know somebody till you know somebody. But I saw your passion for self-care as far as cosmetics and waxing, etc. Your passion is all over your page. And I get encouraged anytime I see someone living their passion. Why? Because I think they live a better quality life. And I think if you're a nomad or if you live very simplistic, you have greater time to live your passion because you are less subject to money and you have less expenses. You can dedicate more time and take more risk associated with your passion. And I think when people live their passion, they're happier. And what happens when people are happier and healed? They live a better quality life and they help society more. When people are hurt and when people are overstretched, they hurt themselves and they hurt society more. Okay? There's a big lesson there. Benny, yep, after the New Year's. That's right. You're planning. Okay, so Benny's planning to live full-time in his car after New Year's. That's right. Thank you for that. Now, will you stay in Western Australia, Benny? And how cold does it get in the winter in the part that you're at? It's Miss Kimberly. That's why I told you way back to tag your videos. Well, you were right, and I still, to be honest with you, I got to get better at that because I'm still not tagging a lot of them because it helps, and I think more people should see your videos. Well, thank you, and thank you again. Well, Mr. Kimberly, you taught me a lot. One is, and I received that correction. Also, it's Miss Kimberly. You helped me when I was doing these live streams on the phone. You're the first person that told me to tap and hold to see the comments once they fade away. Because when you do the live stream from my angle, the comments pop up when someone says it and then they fade away after about 5 seconds. And so sometimes if I'm in the middle of a sentence, I want to finish that thought and then I go to the comment. So I have to tap my screen to then bring that comment back up. And thank you for It's Miss Kimberly taught me that. You taught me that. And thank you for reminding me with the tags. I got to get better at that. I got to self-grow in that area. Thank you. Which IG? Sayo asked. Good question. I tend to stay away from acronyms. What are acronyms? Abbreviations, basically. They use them a lot in the military. What's an acronym? A SOP. What's a SOP? Standard Operating Procedure. What's a MOP? Maintenance Operating Procedure? I don't know. But bottom line is, abbreviations are also used a lot in the corporate world. Why? Because it's basically, it allows you to make things simple, like LOL. Instead of saying laugh out loud, instead of typing that, you just that's basically an acronym. It's abbreviation. So IG stands for Instagram, okay? And it reminds me of what Vince Lombardi said, great football coach. He said, never assume someone knows. So that's why I always try to say things basic and spell it out because a lot of times people, what you think everybody knows, they don't know. So IG stands for Instagram. It's the abbreviation of it. A lot of times too, like in the street, you'll hear it referred to as the gram, okay? The gram, not mean, drugs. A lot of times nowadays, people call the gram Instagram, okay? And on Football Boots Review, on my new page, I have close to 18,000 followers on Instagram. Wow. Football Boots Review. If you want to share it, I like to do Instagram for inspiration. I check it out. Not huge on it, but I like it like anything. I like it for the positive aspect that it can provide. So Football Boots Review, if you want, you can certainly put your Instagram account on there. And if anybody wants to follow Football Boots Review, support each other. Oh, hey, Shay, how are you? Shay I always learn a lot from Shay too. Shay, I don't know if you were here earlier. One is I got cut off initially, so I apologize for that. But also, I was sharing in our conversation, I learned something about the general topic. The beginning topic was debate issues, not politicians, because I believe you have a healthier mind when you talk about specific issues and what your opinion is after you critically think about it, rather than just supporting or bashing a politician. I think that's unhealthy. I think it's healthy to focus on an issue, not to focus on a politician. And one issue I was saying that I didn't know about the UK was that you're provided trash bags. You told me that this morning because I made a video about talking about throwing out trash in your car. And in America, we have to buy our own trash bags. And Football Boots Review, who's also from the UK, was saying that not everyone gets a trash bag. Certain businesses do, etc. So he said it's all relative. And but either way, you taught me something. Thank you for sharing your journey. And I always enjoy your insights because you also have a lot of life experience that we can all learn from. And that's part of a community is that, we don't have to be in each other's house to learn from each other. Okay. So Shay's breaking down I always love Shay too. She breaks down the temperature check and she does the conversion. Because again, in the UK, they measure temperature in Celsius. In America, we measure it in Fahrenheit. America is one of really the only countries I believe that still uses that, or only the biggest one. So Shay says in the UK it's 3 degrees Celsius, which is 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Thank you for doing that conversion. So I guess it's 30-degree difference. I didn't know that. Okay. Football Boots, I Stewart at Saints FC. I'm not sure what that means. Next game is against Irvington. Okay, so that must be professional sports teams in the UK. So respect UK. Thank you for UK people joining. And thank you from Benny from Australia joining. I love connecting and learning from people from all over the world. It's a blessing of technology. And it really blesses me. I thank you for doing that, especially in UK. I know it's getting a little bit late there. Thank you. Thank you. And it's Miss Kimberly came in. Yeah, I know I'm a little bit lagged on the comments. She said IG is Instagram. That's right. Thank you. Football Boots Review. Shay, I was at West Ham Academy for U16 to U18, but then got transferred to Barnet FC for a year. Now, I'm sure those probably mean names of football teams, which I'm not familiar with, but I respect that. It's Miss Kimberly. The comments that on my end too, so that's how I know to tell you. Well, thank you. Thank you. So we're learning together. But thank you for sharing that. It's Miss Kimberly. That helped me a lot. Just that basic instruction. I appreciate you sharing. Benny, yes, I'll stay in the same state as it is a big state. In fact, the biggest. Okay, I didn't know that. Lots of traveling to be done. Okay, so you're going to be a nomad traveler, not a stationary. Okay, different type of nomads. It's currently coming on to summer, but in the winter, okay, so you guys are opposite. The lowest it will be is -2 degrees. Now, is that -2 degrees Celsius or -2 degrees Fahrenheit? Does Australia operate off Celsius or Fahrenheit? I live in Southwest Australia, Benny says. Very interesting. And so, Benny, do you measure it in Fahrenheit or Celsius? And you will be traveling all over the country. Do you have a remote job, or are you going to live on savings, or are you going to just find a job in each place you travel to? Linda, in Norwalk, Wisconsin, $1.50 a bag. You must use their bags that used to suck. That's interesting. I didn't know that. In Norwalk, Wisconsin, $1.50 a bag. You must use their own bags that suck. Really? Now, $1.50 per trash bag? Is that really true? Wow. That's interesting. Yeah, Wisconsin. I knew one guy from Wisconsin, which is a place in America. I didn't know him too well. Just briefly caught up with him through travels. Yeah, I don't know much about Wisconsin. I've personally never been there. Very interesting. Breathe. Why do I do that? Because that's part of being healthy. Why do I take breaths and stop myself? Because it's wisdom to slow down. It's not wisdom to rush. Okay? And we need to catch ourselves. Sometimes we need to be less emotional and more calm. It's very hard, but it's wisdom to have self-control. And part of that is taking time out to breathe. Okay. Chug-a-lug Doug. I never heard of that. And I respect the SpongeBob emoji. Where do you go to the bathroom? Okay, well, you're a new viewer. Welcome. First, welcome and respect to you, Chug-a-lug. And so I did a video on that, but I'll just share with you in live text. So I pee in a plastic jug, a Poland Spring one, and it has a screw-on cap. So when I pee in here at night, and the opening's big enough for a male, when I pee in here at night, I could just close it and put it next to me without spilling over. If you were a female, you would need to squat, so you'd have to rig up something, or you'd have to live in a van to squat. As far as number 2, waste, I use public restrooms, and being that I've changed my diet over the past 6 years to a plant-based diet, my number 2 function, going solid waste bathroom, is regulated. So I go pretty much between 8 a.m. to 12. I do maybe about 2, 3 number 2s maxed, and I don't need to go at night. Because back in the day, like in my unhealthy eating days, like I would be eating General Tso's chicken and chicken lo mein and fried chicken, and I'd be shitting all night. And so, if you're going to live that lifestyle, then you definitely need a van with a bucket next to you to shit. But I live a plant-based diet. I don't need to take a crap at night on average. And I'm usually parked somewhere in the vicinity of a public restroom if I really did need to. But pretty much at night, all I need to do is pee, and I use that jug. Okay? But thank you for joining, man. Love and respect to you. Okay? I appreciate getting to know you. Benny, delicious, if that's how you spell it, laugh out loud, will be stationary nomad. That's pretty much how I roll. Okay? Until I earn enough money to travel the state. I respect that. You're using wisdom. So you're minimizing your expenses. And then as you empower yourself financially, then you will have more freedom. And that's the wisdom of living a simplistic life. However you define it for you, we are all unique. But the wisdom, the empowerment is you are minimizing expenses so you can have more resources to make more decisions based on what you want to do, based on your passions, based on your interests, based on your creativity, rather than based on what you have to do. We know in life sometimes we have to do things, but the more overextended you are financially, the less options you have and the less empowerment you have. That's why it's very important to live below your means. You know, I truly believe that. It's Miss Kimberly. When I stayed in Maryland, I know a lot about Maryland, you have to buy bags. I didn't know that. Okay, well, I never stayed. I only visited there. I never lived there because they wouldn't give you plastic bags anymore. That's interesting. I learned something there too. So Maryland also has that. I didn't know that. Football boots review. Don't you have a hygiene concern for public toilets? No, I don't. I used to back in the day. But then I realized that they've done scientific studies. What's the dirtiest thing on average in society? What's the dirtiest thing on average in society? Is it a toilet bowl? No, it's a cell phone. Okay? Cell phones have more germs on them than toilet bowls. The reality is, if you look at it, it's more dangerous handling your cell phone than it is handling a toilet bowl seat. And certainly, you could put toilet paper down, etc. I used to have a fear of it when I was young and immature and I didn't know actual science and I didn't do research. I started my career in construction. Like going to the porta potty and taking a shit in a porta potty, like it's a porta potty is a plastic, like temporary portable place you go to the bathroom. And I only used to pee in there and used to hate going in there. And even now I avoid them. But once I became mature and once I did the research, public bathrooms are very hygienic. And certainly you could put covers on a toilet seat, but your cell phone and cash have the most germs on them. So if you do the science, that's the truth, okay? And we use our cell phones more than anything else, so. It's Miss Kimberly. I saw a video where this lady had a bag that was made from women to pee in. Yeah, there's got to be something out there. I don't know the name of it. There's got to be something out there. Like I say, if you have a van, you don't have to worry about it because then you can just rig up some type of, you know what I mean, thing where you can squat in. But there are people, and I know people that have health problems that they pee in a bag. Now, they have a catheter, I believe they call it, which is basically a tube that goes in their urethra and then it goes into a bag. But there's different bags. I mean, women just don't have, their private part isn't flexible to point it somewhere. I mean, they have internal private parts. So they have a little bit more restriction on how their pee comes out. I mean, let's be mature. I don't want to be immature where we can't say pee in private parts. I mean, come on. So there's certainly something, if you did the research, that you could live out of a car if you wanted to. It would be a little bit more convenient for a female, I think, to be able to squat. That's why I think a van may be a little bit more easier. But certainly, you can do it either way. I would say there's no issue with that. Okay. Sayo, I'm not American. What are you, Sayo? Not what are you, because one is your Sayo, okay? Where you're from is only the origin of where you were born, which all of us are just born at any location by chance. My forefathers migrated here from Italy, so we're all one, okay? At the end of the day, and no matter how we say that, that's what we also talk about the issues, not politicians. At the end of the day, we're all one, okay? And so you are not from America where you are from. You are Sayo. So anyone explain who is the one that would give you the plastic bags? Yeah, I would assume it would be that township, okay? Because again, America is the United States. So America has state laws, and in that state you have different township laws. And then you have the federal government that unites all those states and has oversight to make sure that federal laws in conjunction with the individual state laws are being followed. If you go to New York City, and New York City's in America, and then you travel down to Texas, you may think, depending on what part of Texas you go to, you may think you're in a totally different world. So the United States, just like many places, is vastly different depending on where in the United States you go. And then what the rules are in that local township, they vary. Like in Arizona, there's some towns that you can walk around with an open weapon and just wrapped around your arm. You try to do that in New York City, NYPD will shut you down in a minute. You understand what I'm saying? So both are in America, but completely different cultures. So that's part of, too, a diverse nation, okay? And so you have to be mindful of that. Benny, it reads delicious. It's in degrees. Okay, I didn't know that. Oh, Celsius. Delicious. I'm sorry. It reads Celsius. Got you. Thank you, Benny. Yeah, America, from my understanding, is one of the few countries that does use Fahrenheit. Thank you, Benny. Chugalug, are you going to the RTR? Chuckalug, thanks again, man, for joining, brother. I appreciate a new viewer. I never really connected with you. I am not going to the RTR. RTR, for those who don't know, who aren't in necessarily the Nomad community, the RTR stands for Rubber Tramp Rendezvous. It's an annual convention held in Arizona by a guy named Bob Wells. He does have a YouTube channel. It's called Cheap RV Living. I have no problem. People want to go there. I do believe he's one of the pioneers of just basically going on YouTube and breaking down the stereotype that living in your car is not possible. And just because you live in your car, it doesn't determine that you're a bad person. So I respect Bob Wells breaking down that barrier. Overall, the context of Bob Wells' videos to me are very fair, and he seems to treat people properly. I don't know him personally. He could be a horrible person. I don't know him, but I want to be respectful to him that's the content he has out there. Why won't I go to the RTR? Because I don't have the personality where I like conventions. It's pretty much just a convention for nomads. When I was in the church movement, they had a gospel fest every year down in Atlanta. I never went there because, I didn't like to be around a lot of people talking about the same thing. I didn't go to a lot of concerts, even though I like certain music, because I didn't like being around a lot of people. So there would probably be about 1,000 or plus people that are talking about the RTR. Me personally, there's no disrespect to anybody who wants to go. It's a bonding thing. It's a bonding thing. You're not going to learn anything revolutionary. But I didn't like his video about joining the tribe because I don't like tribe thinking. I like critical self-thinking. I get concerned when people blindly go somewhere and they look at somebody like their God or their Moses or whoever. I always, remember Jim Jones drinking the Kool-Aid. That happens when you put somebody on a pedestal. And that goes back to the issue. Don't debate politicians, debate issues. Okay? Jesus didn't debate Pharisees. He debated the issues of the Bible. Whatever you want to believe or but don't. But bottom line is, I will not be going, not because I'm necessarily against it, Chugalog, just because it's not my personal thing. But again, I want to show proper respect to Bob Wells and what he has done for the Nomad community. Sometimes he's not necessarily my personal taste, but just because someone isn't my personal taste does not mean I still can't show him respect for what he has done and the information that he provides. Okay, thank you for the question, Chugalug. Football boots review, a phone. Football boots review. Yep, I knew it. Yeah, see, the phone is the most dirty item that the average person handles. It's the dirtiest thing in society because it's mass handled by different people. You sneeze, you touch your phone. You wipe your ass, you don't clean 100%, you touch your phone. Okay? You put your tampon in, you touch your phone. Okay? Please. So the phone is way more dirty than a public bathroom. Never forget it. All right? So, Sayo, I'm going to do some research on the bag you talked about. Okay, so Sayo's connecting with Kimberly. It's Miss Kimberly. I saw a new segment that they did on public toilets. Okay, let's see what they said. The first stall is usually the cleanest. Interesting, because people typically don't choose that one. Very interesting. It's Miss Kimberly. I like her comments. I would say, I'm not reading your next comment yet, but in my mind, I would say the most dirtiest toilet in a public rest stop, I would say, is probably the handicap one. Why? Because in my opinion, most people, including me sometimes, they use the handicap one because it's the most room. Now, not to say you should use it if there's, if the rest area stop or if the public restroom is crowded. I do not recommend using the handicap one. But a lot of times if there's nobody in the bathroom, people use the handicap one because they got more leg room. And I would think that's probably the dirtiest one. I could be wrong on that. It's Miss Kimberly. If you're concerned with the smell of number 2, you can buy this spray called Poop Peru. Okay? It works. Check out the videos. Okay? That's a good recommendation. What I want to share with you on live time. This is why I love being live. You know what every nomad should have if you live out of a car or van? Glad. You got to spray that. Because it's going to get a little funky. This is your house. Just like in your regular house, you got to, it gets a little funky. You got to clean up and then you got to spray. Same thing, you live in here, you got to spray, you got to keep this thing smelling good. When something smells good, you'll be more inspired. When it smells like feet and ass, you're not going to be inspired, okay? I don't care how much little bills you have, all right? Now it smells like, what does it smell like right now? It smells like cashmere woods, all right? That's not my favorite. I have one called like citrus summer or something like that. That's my favorite, all right? Sayo, you are Greek. Okay, respect and love to Greek. I'm Italian, so I knew a lot of Greek people growing up, okay? Sayo, you remind me of Bruce Lee. Well, I like Bruce Lee. I like his disciplined thoughts of mine. I like to see myself as a human being. Amen. That's a wise quote. See, I knew it. Yeah, I do like his quotes. I like to see we're all human beings. Yes, we're all part of humanity. Amen to that. Under the same sun. I'm going to read out loud because Sayo shared with us a great quote by Bruce Lee. Now, Bruce Lee, in addition to being an actor, etc., I believe he offered a lot of valuable quotes, a lot of powerful insights. So Seo took the time to write one of Bruce Lee's quotes. I like to see myself as a human being. We are all humans under the same heaven. When asked about his origins. So Bruce Lee had the mindset of, I am part of a community called humanity. Not to say that we all aren't still from certain areas and that, there's differences among us, but I like the overall mindset of we're all connected because it shows a level of compassion. You can't be too pussyfoot. You got to be a little firm. But thank you for sharing that quote. I agree with that mindset. Okay. Oh, I gotta wait. Jesse, I see you, but I gotta be fair to it's Miss Kimberly because I missed her comment. It's Miss Kimberly. Hey, now going to the RTR Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, exclamation mark. I knew that just based off watching his videos. Yes. Plus, introverts can't handle those crowds. Yes. See, I did do a few videos on RTR. It's Miss Kimberly is a regular follower and subscriber. I thank you everyone for subscribe. I do get encouraged when subscriber counts go up, but sometimes they go down and they may end up back at zero because you never know. But thank you for It's Miss Kimberly because she does know that I am an introvert. She's an introvert. But some introverts go there. But the main thing of the RTR is it's a convention. And it's for people who want to connect into a community. I am not mad at that. But that's why me and Miss Kimberly kind of click on that mindset. Jesse, yes. Welcome, brother. Sorry we missed you earlier. We love you. We appreciate you. Yo, my first night was smooth. Yeah, you did the first night last night. Respect to that. I was jumping at everything I heard. That's natural, brother. I heard the first... Okay. Let me slow down. Jesse is also a regular viewer, specifically on the live streams. Jesse shared with us yesterday during the live stream, he is getting ready to start his nomadic journey of living out of his car. I forgot the car. I think it was a Jeep Patriot. And last night, I believe it was his first night or one of his first nights. And he's sharing us that. And I'm going to read his comment clearly and calmly. My first night was smooth. I was jumping at everything I heard, though, for the first hour or two, laugh out loud of it, parked at Walmart lot. Thank you. And I think that's a wise comment. That's why I wanted to slow down and talk about it, because anyone ever thinking of that, you've heard my testimony, you're hearing Jesse's. The first night and the first few weeks, if not months, are going to be scary. You're going to jump at everything. And I always get the question, where do you park? It varies for person to person, depending on your situation. But Walmart is a generic place that most people, depending on your specific town, because all towns are different, most Walmarts will allow overnight parking. Doesn't mean that's your home base and you camp there 7 days a week. Because again, the biggest friend you have is movement. I may do tomorrow a whole topic. Movement is life. As a nomad, you sign up that you have to constantly move. You should not keep the same routines. Yes, you can have regular spots, but you shouldn't be predictable. And movement is your friend. If you stay idle too long, no good. Thank you for sharing, Jesse. It's Miss Kimberly. Pooparoo is all natural, though. Okay. And she's got the emoji face. It's made of essential oils. Okay, I liked Robin Big. Remember that show on Robin Big on MTV, Robin Big? I remember he did something where he went to some type of healer and she had essential oils all over his body. It's made of essential oils and you spray it in the toilet bowl before going number 2. That's interesting. It's like preventive care. It traps the odor. Okay, that's interesting. I never heard that. Pooparoo. If anybody needs to control that funk, you better get some Pooparoo. Okay. Jesse, I still need to work on my window covers. It'll take time, brother. It took me months because I cut them from reflectors with black coverings. And yes, he does have a 2006 Jeep Liberty. I apologize, though, it's Patriot. Thank you, Jesse, for correcting me. Yes, thank you also for sharing that. Very important. If for people such as Linda or whatever that you're getting ready to possibly live out of your car, your window covers and your bed setup, it will take weeks, if not months, to get it just right. The only way to learn in life is to do, to mess up, and to refine as you go. But do not let perfection be the enemy of progress. Don't let perfection be the enemy of progress. Just keep going and refine as you go. Okay? Benny, congrats, Jesse. You're showing you love. I'll be the same the first few nights. Better safe than sorry. Yeah, it's going to take time. Benny's getting ready to head on his journey in West Australia, Southwest Australia to be specific. And thank you, Benny, for sharing. Thank you, Chugalug, too, if you're still on, man. I appreciate all new viewers. And powerful, man, powerful. I'm going to give a time check here, and then I'm just going to take a little bit of a breath. Anybody have anything they want to share, please feel free. It's always open forum at this time in the chat. It's 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's approximately 44 degrees in New Jersey. And it stays at this time of year, it's November 13th, 2017. At this time of year, it gets dark in this part of the country, in New Jersey, in the United States of America, around 5 to 5:30. And then obviously, as you get into spring, then that starts to go, it stays later. It's going to get darker earlier and stay darker earlier before the spring. But either way, depending on what part of the world you're at, that's all relative. Jesse, so when do you see yourself going back to a home or apartment? Well, Jesse, if that question is directed to me, no time in the foreseeable future. None. Unless my life circumstance would change, whether it's something with health, etc., God forbid, I do not foresee me ever wanting to go back to a conforming house or apartment. I hate it. I don't like to use the word hate, but I severely dislike it. If you saw my video today on no garbage, living in a car, I hate all the little burdens that come with owning a house or being in an apartment. Now, again, if you have a family and you're not by yourself, it doesn't make sense to live out of a car. But if you're by yourself and you're like me, you did that and you don't want all those burdens and all those, there's no way I would be doing, I love doing live chats. I love doing YouTube. If I had a house, there's no way I'd be doing it. Because it's certainly not for like any financial reward. You don't get anything. I haven't got one paycheck from YouTube. I'm not big like that. So why do I keep doing it? Because I love to do it. I actually do. But if I was totally drained emotionally, financially, etc., owning a house, there's no way I would be making YouTube channels. I love doing YouTube. I have so much extra free time, so much extra money, etc., resources, that I'm able to do more things I love, even if I'm not getting a financial reward from them. And part of fulfilling your life purpose, part of living your passion, is that you're able to do things sometimes even if you don't get a financial reward, because you don't need to. When you have a house, when you have all the trappings of a house, the last thing you're going to do is work all day, come home, do all that trash removal, clean your house, worry about this, worry about that, and then do a YouTube channel? Fuck no. You're going to be pissed at the world. That's the answer, in my opinion, right now. The only thing I may do, Jesse, is down the road, is have a home base in Florida. Now, and I'm going to do a whole video on that. Now, home base would be maybe buying an RV lot, maybe a small RV, or maybe a piece of land. But even when I do that, all the research shows me that I'm trapped into a lot of recurring bills. I'm trapped into property taxes. I'm trapped into HOA fees if it's in a homeowners association community. And I'm trapped into utilities. Because most towns have ordinances that piece of property, if you're going to have a dwelling on it, has to have utilities. I don't want 3 different bills at the end of each month for utilities. I like living off the grid. And so even a home base right now, that's why I'm hesitant to buy. I could buy a home base. I was thinking of buying like a home base in Florida, like for $50,000 right on the beach, just like an RV lot. They have them. But then I'm trapped in all those extra bills, and I'm not going to be using it that much. Down the road, that's the only thing I would do if I got fully at a point where I was fully remote. But I have a lot of negative feelings about that because of those reasons. I'm going to scroll back. I missed up on some comments. It's Miss Kimberly. I had to clean my bathroom today and thought about some of the videos. Well, you know what I felt when I said that garbage thing. Oh, Sarah's in the building. Sarah Mitchell. So far, what is your favorite compact cargo van? Love and respect to Sarah. Sarah, you know I love you. My favorite cargo van is a Ford Transit. And my always recommendation is buy new, not used. Well, Sam, you can buy it so much cheaper if it's used. True. And you do lose, as soon as you drive it off the lot, you lose 20% of its value. But you don't have to worry about problems. Do you see Nomadic Fanatic? He bought a used RV. He always is fixing that shit. Do you know anyone in your life that's bought a used car? Ask yourself, how often do they fix it? Okay? Ask yourself that. Now, if you're handy and you're a MacGyver, I'm not, then you may want to buy used and you're willing to work with the repairs. Part of me downsizing my life is I want less aggravation. Now, you can buy a new car and something can go wrong, but you have less opportunity. So a brand new Ford Transit cargo van. You cannot fully stand up in that, but you could squat. And that's the benefit for a woman specifically. But even for a male, Ford Transit, you could at least put a full mattress there, so you gain. So male or female, that's a benefit of a cargo van. A little bit of the downside is I like to drive. I actually enjoy driving. A cargo van, you don't have the full funness of driving. I like driving my Jeep Renegade. It's actually fun to drive. I put my sunroof down. I put my music on. I love driving and listening to my music, especially in warm weather with my sunroof down. Oh, like I totally rejuvenate myself. Now, the small Ford Transit Connect, it's almost like driving a car, so I would consider purchasing it because it's not like driving a E250 cargo van. I had one when I was an electrical contractor, and it felt like I said, like you were going to fucking drop off sheetrock. I don't want that, excuse me for cursing. So, Ford Transit van, it's a retail of $25,000 US. After negotiation, you can probably get close to $22,000, taxes, everything included. General rule of thumb, when you buy new, you should always be able to get, hopefully you can get at least 20% off the MSRP, okay? So 20% off of $25,000 is approximately $5,000. Can you get it for 20? No, maybe not. But if you can get it for 22, you meet them halfway. That's a win, in my opinion. Okay. Let me scroll back on the comments. Benny, if it's directed to me, half my income goes to rent and bills. Okay. I'll be doing this for the first 6 months just to save money. Yeah, you have to heal. You have to heal and save up. That's what I did. And get in front. Yes, you have to empower yourself financially. And once in front, yep, see, he'll be back. He will be back having control of his life rather than his life controlling him. And that's why a simplistic life is so enticing. Even that people that watch my channel that have full families, that's the enticing thing of it. You gain your power back. And you have a lot more freedom. I like that. Not for everybody, though. I want to be responsible. Not for everybody, okay? I'll be straight in the house. I'm just behind ATM. No, I understand that. I've been behind in life, so I respect and love that. It's Miss Kimberly. I have no problems with my car because it's new. Respect to that. Well, Miss Kimberly, I think you have, was it a Camry? What kind of car do you have again? It's Miss Kimberly. Oh, Dana, how are you? Hey, Sam, I'm late. No worries. Everyone, thank you, Dana, for joining. You always have the freedom to come and go as you like and to join whenever you want based on your schedule because it's your life. And I always want you guys to have freedom and these things replay. So, but thank you for everyone joins. It makes my day special. This is my social interaction for the most part other than work-related things and family, etc. So that's great. We had a great conversation, man. We talked about a lot of things. As always, and we still got a little bit more to go, so hang with me. As always, I try to dedicate the first part of the live stream, 15, 20 minutes or so, to a specific topic. The topic today was don't debate politicians. Debate individual issues. Why? Because that leads to a healthy mind. When you put a politician on a pedestal or when you put a politician as a demon, what you do is you avoid critically thinking. Instead of bashing a politician or praising a politician, research individual issues and think for yourself. And what you will do is you will live a better quality life, whether you live in a car, a cargo van, or a mansion. And I want to live in a better quality life, and I want you to live in a better quality life. Mind, body, soul. I want you to love someone and to be able to have a healthy relationship with them, whether they vote for this political party or that. Doesn't mean you can't still speak your truth. And it doesn't mean that sometimes you're not going to find any common ground. But at least you won't be totally controlled by viewing someone through a political person. Because what happens is you'll vote for somebody and they'll be wrong. And instead of they'll be wrong on one issue. You may agree with them on 9 issues, but they'll be wrong on one. And someone attacks them. And instead of you saying, well, I agree with you on this issue, you'll just defend that politician because you'll feel like they're attacking me. So what I'm trying to say is just discuss individual issues, which you will find, like I found in life, that I love people that voted for Trump. I love people that voted for Obama. I love people that voted for Clinton. I disagree on different specific issues, but there is respect. There is love. There is a sound mind. There is self-discipline of emotions, and that I can connect with people regardless of what political person they may have supported. not always the case. There's some people you're never going to get along with, but I want to promote a healthy mind, healthy relationships, not over emotional and not putting political people as idols or demons. Critical self-thinking. Okay. Benny, do you have to service your car a lot more being a nomad? Do you think? Good question, Benny. That's a great question, actually. So my car is a 2016 Jeep Renegade Trailhawk Edition. I bought it brand new. I have it now for about a year and a half. I have 58,000 miles on it. That's a lot. Average car life expectancy, probably somewhere, I don't know. I mean, it's probably, the years, it's like 11 years, but then it's like 150 to 200,000 miles before like engine or something will go. Now, most of my miles are highway miles. I've drove up and down the East Coast, all the way to the tip of Florida, all the way to up in Vermont. So, yes. So obviously you got more oil changes. Excuse me. Now, nowadays, everything is synthetic oil. Most new cars are synthetic oil, so you don't have to change your oil every 3,000 miles. You're changing it every 10,000 miles or every 3 to 6 months, depending. But you have more of them, and synthetic oil changes are almost $100 in America. And you're going to go through tires faster. I haven't gone through tires, but I do see my front tires starting to get a little bit treaded. So those general things, such as oil changes more, tires more, brakes more, rotors more. But the key is you're going to have a little more expenses on car maintenance. But again, you've simplified your life so much that even if your car maintenance bills increase so much, your heaviest load, which is your housing costs, etc., that's totally dropped off the face of the earth. So even if this, went up a little bit, the thing that was holding you hostage or holding over your head, that's totally gone. So that's okay. It's okay if you spend a little bit more on your car. It's okay if you spend a little bit more on Starbucks or things you enjoy, because you know what? You're empowered to live your life. If I want to travel down to Florida and put, 2,000 miles on my car, yeah, I may have to, buy brakes more, but you know what? I'd rather spend the money on that than spend the money on a utility bill, spend the money on my property taxes, spend the money on my mortgage for a fixed location that's a burden for me to go back to every night. I mean, once you go back to the same place for 15 years, I mean, for me, it almost becomes a burden. Movement is life, but that's also part of my personality. Some people love that fixed location. I like a level of seeing different things. It's healthy for my mind. And so I know myself at this point in my journey. That's often what I say. Okay. It's Miss Kimberly, 2016 Camry. I knew it was a Camry. Okay. It's my dream car. I respect that. Not suitable for living. It would be tough to live out of a Camry, but you love it, and that's all that counts. I saw some living out of a Fiat. Well, yeah, the Jeep Renegade is made 80% by Fiat. Fiat is in Italy. Okay, and so Chrysler and Fiat work together. 80% of it's built in Italy, then shipped to America. It's finished off. So my car is very similar to a Fiat. I like the Fiats. I think they're very cute. So yeah, and Glam Gypsy commented the other day she's getting ready to live full-time out of a 2006 Honda Element. A lot of people live out of Elements. They got the shape of a Renegade. So you can do it. You can do it. Sayo, you know what? You should indeed debate issues, but like someone told me, politics is a practical art, so you have to take in regard to politicians as well. Hope it's not too late to say. It's never too late to say. And it's never too late to share your opinion and perspective, okay? Always do that. Yeah. So you are right that politicians, their character and all that is a part of the conversation because they drive the conversation. But I want us to focus on what we can control. What can we control? Keeping our mind in a healthy place and being well-rounded and well-informed to discuss issues, not to discuss politicians and their affairs, okay? Big difference. And so does it mean that once we do that, we solve the world and everything is perfect? No. There's still going to be a lot of shit you got to deal with. But at least your mind isn't consumed by that political person, whether it's praise or whether it's persecution. You've developed what I always, part of my core message, you've developed critical self-thinking. And that's a huge part of a healthy, healed you. That's why I brought this topic up. Not because I want it to be contentious. I don't want to be contentious. I brought this topic up because many people are hurt because of political debates they get involved in, or even if they don't get involved with them, they watch the news or they watch a thing come on their phone and they get all worked up. I want to be part of healing and part of self-development. Part of healing and self-development is researching specific issues, thinking for yourself, and if anything, you may realize, you know what, there is no magic answer to this. And then you may have more compassion for different politicians that you may have not voted for or disagreed with. You may research tax cuts, and you say, you know what, there is no easy answer to this. You may have researched healthcare, and you may realize there's no easy answer to this. So let me not just bash politicians. Let me, one, acknowledge that this is a very hard issue, okay? Yeah, it's an art. Everything's an art. There's no doubt about that. It's 4:45 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time. What music are you guys listening to? I may do a whole live feed on what type of music you like to listen to. Like you've heard me say in the past, music heals the soul. And if Sarah, if you're still in the building, I hope you're feeling better. I know I was checking on your gram yesterday. I know you were feeling a little under the weather. And I like that Instagram storyline that you gave. I thought it was magical. Thank you. Well, magical, but I thought it was good. I like that you shared that. And I hope you're feeling better if you're still listening. And if not, there's love and prayers for you. And what's everybody having for dinner tonight? Is everybody getting ready for dinner? And we're also going to do... oh, thank you very much. No problem, Sarah. I'm glad you're still listening. Yes, thank you for sharing that Instagram storyline. And yeah, I hope you're feeling good, because Sarah's a great... Me knowing Sarah, I like that she's an honest person. We've had a lot of different discussion about different things. Very honest in her self-evaluation. And I believe she's a positive light in society. So you should let your light shine before men and women. So if you are like Sarah, if you are like Sayo, if you are like It's Miss Kimberly, if you're like Football Boots Review, if you're like Shay, if you're like Linda, if you're like Benny, if you're like anyone else, I want to encourage you to take your own private time. Take your own private time that you need to recharge your batteries and to be in a healthy place. With your overflow, I want you to let your light shine in society, whatever way it may be, whether it's to start a YouTube channel, whether it's to be a person that speaks up during a conversation in Thanksgiving. You know, sometimes you change the world by just being part of a Thanksgiving dinner conversation, and someone says something you disagree with, and you are well informed enough to say, no, I disagree with that. Okay? And sometimes that may cause all hell. And that's why I don't like, that's why I say no to invitations. All right, it's Miss Kimberly. She knows I like to say it's no to invitations. All right, I went a little sideways on that. Dana, what did you do for dinner? And also respect to Dana. She's a light in this world. What did you have for dinner? I didn't have anything for dinner yet. Tonight I will be having a salad fixins, and I also will be visiting my mother tonight. It's one of my days off of work. That's why Sunday through Tuesday, that's why I do 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because those are my days where I'm not on site at my job. And so I do an earlier live stream so that I can spend certain quality time with my mother, who's getting elderly. And I always say to anyone out there who has been blessed enough to have a good mother or a good parent, quality time matters, okay? And you should spend some time with them, and that's what I do. And so I will go into her apartment, and I will sit down with her. I won't eat what she eats. My mom is severely overweight. She has diabetes. Not severely overweight, but she's overweight. She has diabetes. But she's a great woman. So she'll have something. Probably she'll have like a pretzel and some type of macaroni and cheese or something. And I'll have a salad. I may have tuna tonight or salmon. When I see her, I usually have some fish. For those who've watched me, I eat a plant-based diet, but I'm not 100% vegetarian. I'm a pescatarian. So 90% of the time, my diet consists of all plant-based food. 10% of the time, I will add fish to it, okay? Pescatarian, that's what a pescatarian stands for. It means that you're mainly vegetarian, and from time to time, you'll have some fish. So I will have a salad with red Goya beans, low sodium red beans, with onions, tomatoes, carrots, and the red beans really fill you up. I'll put some pepper on that, and then I may have some broiled salmon, and I do not cook that salmon in oil, okay? And then I'll put like maybe a little bit of hot sauce on that salmon. I'm not gonna lie, but not too much, but a little bit, all right? And then a Diet Coke. I do have one Diet Coke per day. Sometimes two. Okay? Oh, what we got? I missed some people. Haha, I guessed it. I bet he had a salad. Oh, it's Miss Kimberly got me. Yep, she guessed it. Yeah, and now you're giving me a lot of emojis. I respect that. Thank you. I'm sorry, I missed out on that. Oh, we're doing good. That's positive. We got through Monday. Shit, we're doing good. What's your favorite fish? My favorite fish is salmon. Thank you, Benny. And then my second favorite fish is tuna. Now, truth be told, I do like crab, but I stopped really eating crab because when I really changed my life and I got more health conscious, when I had crab, I would dip it in the butter sauce. You know the butter sauce I'm talking about. You get crab and then you melt butter and then you dip the crab meat in the butter. Oh, it's magical, but it also kills you. So I don't eat that anymore, but I did for many years. So my top two fishes are salmon 1 and tuna 2. Okay? And I'm inspired now. Why am I inspired? Because we made it through Monday. We're positive. We're going forward. We're connecting with like-minded people, and there's positivity flowing. And I'm feeling that. Okay? Sayo, it's Miss Kimberly. Haha. This is an emoji party. I like emojis. Now, truth be told, you got to be careful when you give emojis to a different person of a different gender. Sometimes, because I'm an emoji guy, I give an emojis to girls, and they think he's got to slow down. He's getting too carried away. I'm just an emoji guy. But sometimes someone who is not... an emoji can be very offensive to someone who has either been hurt or doesn't like you as much. That's the truth. All right. So a lot of times you can give emoji to somebody, and if they don't like you as much, they'll slow you down. Okay, listen, slow the fuck down with the emojis. All right, because I don't like you that much, and they don't want you to get the wrong idea. So be careful. All right. I was laughing so hard. So that's true. Okay. Okay. Benny likes sardines. All right. I never really had sardines, but I respect that. Salmon is expensive. It is, but like I've shared with other people in the past, I spent more money at Popeye's fried chicken, at McDonald's, at the Chinese spot. I spent more money on fast food than I ever did eating healthy. Even if I bought salmon every day, it'd be cheaper than back in the day when I would get off of work and buy, you know what I mean, chicken lo mein, sweet and sour chicken, egg rolls. You understand what I'm saying? That's the type of life. So thank God the Lord delivered me from that, because that wasn't easy. That wasn't even. Giving up cigarettes and giving up on healthy food, very hard. And then giving up on healthy relationships. Those are the top 3. Okay? I'm feeling it. We're doing good. We're doing positive, man. A lot of good stuff tonight. I like that. I'm very thankful. Miss Kimberly, what's the temperature right now in Texas? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but overall, I feel very encouraged. And it's 81 degrees in Texas, in Houston, Texas specifically. All right. So it's amazing, right? I mean, different parts of the world, you get different temperatures, different time zones. My people, if anyone's still from the UK, Football Boots Review or Shay, you know, they're in a late time zone, and I'm sure Australia is as well. And that's amazing, man. It's amazing. It's just a cycle of life. It's just the earth rotating around the sun, basically, right? And it's amazing. It's just one big circle of life, and that's something to be said for that. It's 60 degrees in North Carolina. Respect and love to Dana. Dana, how was your day? How was your day, Dana? And how are you doing? And what are you having for dinner? All right, real quick, I would like everyone to give me a 1 cent, if they want, no force. I would like everyone to give me a 1 sentence thing on what they're going to have for dinner tonight. Let's see what's going on out there. All right? Sarah, that includes you. I know you're sick, but maybe you're having some chicken soup if you're still on. Okay? Let's see what else. I'm curious what's out there. And let's be honest. If you're going to go in heavy and get 12 pieces of fried chicken, please be honest. Or if you're going to go in heavy and order a bowl of chicken parm with 2 slices of pizza, let's be honest. Or maybe like I did back in the day, a whole large mushroom cheese pie to the face, dipped in ketchup. I used to dip my pizza in ketchup. Some people didn't like that, especially Italian people I knew. I'm Italian. They said like that was disrespectful, dip pizza in ketchup. I said, screw you. I like it. But what's ketchup? Ketchup's just sugar. What are condiments? Condiments are just like liquid sugar, basically. Okay? It's Miss Kimberly said probably a salad. Miss Kimberly said probably a salad. Probably a salad. And then she put a laugh in the air emoji. That means she may have 5 slices of pizza, maybe. I don't know. Sarah said pizza. It's a kid's birthday. Laugh out loud. Well, that's a good excuse. Chuck E. Cheese it up. Dana, I was very busy. Bowl of veggies with cottage cheese. Okay. It's Miss Kimberly. I don't know yet. Well, respect and love to you because you're beautiful and hot. And you may even get a guy to buy you dinner if you wanted to. But don't play that game. That's no good. Okay. Shay's also a beautiful woman from the UK. Just listening to Bob Wells about camp etiquette. He spoke a lot of sense. Check it out. No, I respect Bob Wells. Like I said, I mean, you guys know some things I disagree with Bob Wells, but there's no disrespect to him because I do believe overall he sets a positive, healthy tone, and overall he gives some helpful information. His lifestyle of living totally as a secluse and then going to Mexico to buy health care and then coming back and living on public, not my thing, but I respect Bob Wells. I thank God for him. And I think he adds a positive aspect of the conversation. So thank you, Shay, for mentioning that. And I would agree with you that, yeah, he adds a positive thing. Mm-hmm. Benny, chicken noodles with tuna. That sounds interesting. Couple packets of beef jerky. Okay, I used to like beef. When I used to drink beer, I used to like to have a Corona lime and beef jerky. Now, that's not healthy. I'm not co-signing that, but I want to be honest with you, and I don't want to begrudge you if that's what you're into. Yeah, I used to love to have a Corona and beef jerky. Mm-hmm. It's Miss Kimberly. I wish. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It's Miss Kimberly. Benny, and you much of a fisherman, Sam. Yeah, I almost got like a fisherman look with my cap on and my thing. That's true. Mm-hmm. Now I'm getting hungry. Shit. Okay, we're almost there. All right. But yeah, I used to like to dip my pizza in ketchup. Does anybody who eats pizza, and Sarah, if you're gonna eat pizza tonight, will you dip it in ketchup? And do you get offended by that? Please let me know. I'm very curious about this. I should do a survey on that. Does anybody dip their pizza in ketchup, and are you offended by that? All right. Ew, see, Sarah don't like it. Sarah just broke up with me. She don't like it. She'll be offended by that. But that's okay. That's okay. I respect that. Sarah, what's your favorite pizza? Cheese, mushroom, sausage, etc. Which type of favorite type of pizza? Football Boots Review. I love pizza with garlic and herb sauce. Okay. Sarah, ranch. Is that ranch pizza? What's that, like a buffalo wings? Football Boots Review. Nothing else. Okay. Well, I'm not mad at that. You're going to have pizza with garlic herb. It's Miss Kimberly. Mariana sauce. Mariana sauce? Okay. Sarah just like regular cheese pizza. I'm not mad at regular cheese pizza, and mushroom pizza is my favorite. Dana, I will give it a try. Okay. Here's Benny. Pineapple does not belong on a pizza. I had pineapple pizza a couple times. Ranch dressing is what I dip it in. See? I can't believe you got mad at me for ketchup, but you like ranch. See? Some people like different things. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not mad at you either, Sarah. Dip that ranch. I look forward to you having forward to it. See, as we bring the message home tonight, you may have voted for Trump or you may have voted for Clinton. You may dip your pizza in ranch dressing or you may dip it in ketchup. Bottom line, as my brother Sal said, we're all part of humanity, because that's what Bruce Lee said. So let us try to stay as united as possible, okay? And let us debate the issues. The real issue is not about tax cuts, okay? The real issue is about, do you think it's right to dip your pizza in ranch dressing, or do you think it's right to dip it in ketchup? All right? That's the real issue, all right? And like always, laughter is good for the soul. Laughing at yourself is healthy for the mind. I promote mind, body, soul, okay? Not a rigid, not an extreme mind, and not someone that takes yourself too serious. Why? Because you'll live a better quality life. And that's my goal, that whether you choose to live in a car, van, or in an apartment or house, that you live the best quality life possible. That's really my goal, okay? I'm going to read a couple more comments, then we're going to finish up strong. It's Miss Kimberly. Supreme Pizza. You coming in big time with the Supreme Pizza. I'm not mad at that, because I would have a Supreme Pizza and I would dip in ketchup, okay? And give me some fries on the side, and maybe some buffalo wings and mozzarella sticks for appetizers. That's why I was 350 pounds. I can go in heavy if I want to. But no pork. Yeah, we ain't going to do pork, but I still do a lot of it, because lips that touch swine will never touch mine. I'm not mad at you, Miss Kimberly. Pineapple is good. Pineapple is the bomb on pizza. Yeah, I'm not mad at pineapple. Dana should be extra. Okay, well, that's a little harsh. Okay, but I understand. Just laugh out loud. But I don't like ham. Okay. That being said, it is 1 minute left. Dana said, Football Boots Review, have a nice day. Love and respect to everyone. Everyone has shown each other respect in this forum. Everyone has shown each other respect, okay? And so everyone should go in peace. If you have any anxiety, if you have any insecurities, do not replay conversations in your head. Let them go, okay? Be in a healthy place. Stay positive. Stay productive. Let negative thoughts go. Let them go. Don't hold on to them. Okay? I want you to enjoy your dinner, whether you're having a Supreme Pizza or whether you're having a salad with sardines. Have a positive night. Take care of yourself. Stay inspired. And laugh and be good. All right? God bless, man.